Ickbarr Bigelsteine. When I was a small child, I was terrified of the dark, and I still am, but back when I was around 6, when I was around 6 years old, 6, 6 years old, I couldn't go a full night without crying crying out for one of my parents to search beneath my bed or in my closet for whatever monster I thought was waiting to eat me. Even with the nightlight, I would still see dark shapes moving around the corners of the room, or strange faces looking in on me from my bedroom window. My parents would do their best to console me, telling me that it was just a bad dream or a trick of the light. But in my young mind, I was positive that the second I fell asleep, the bad things would get me. Most of the time, I would just hide under the blankets until I became tired enough to stop worrying. But every now and then, I would become so panicked that I would run screaming to my parents' room, waking up my brother and sister in the process. After an ordeal like that, there would be no way anyone would be getting a full night's rest. Eventually, after one particular traumatizing night, my parents had enough. Fortunately for them, they understood the futility of arguing with a 6-year-old. They knew that they would be unable to convince me to rid myself of childish fears through reason and logic. They had to be clever. It was my mother's idea to stitch together my little bedtime friend. She collected a large assortment of random pieces of fabric in her sewing machine and created what I would later refer to as Mr. Ickbarr Bigelsteine, or Ick for short. Ick was a sock monster, as my mother called him. He was made to keep me safe while I slept at night.
Okay, scratch that. That was actually really easy.
By scaring away all the other monsters. It was pretty damn creepy, I had to admit. Honestly, looking back on it all now, I'm still impressed that my mom could think of something so strange and disturbing looking. Ickbarr had this stitched together look of Frankenstein clown, with big white button eyes and floppy cat ears. His little arms and legs were made from a pair of my sister's black and white striped socks, and the half of his face was green. Was made from one of my brother's tall football socks. His head could have been described as bulbous, and for his mouth, my mom attached a piece of white fabric and sewed it in a zigzag pattern to shape a wide grin of sharp teeth. I looked at him at once. From then on, it never left my side, so long as it was after dusk, of course. Ick didn't like the sun and would get upset if I tried to bring him to school with me, but that was okay. I only needed him at night to keep away the boogeyman, which was what he was good at. So every night at bedtime, Ick would tell me where the monsters were hiding, and I would place him near the section of my room closet, the spookiness. If there was something in the closet, Ick would block the door. If there was a dark creature scratching at my window, Ick would be pressed up against the glass. If there was a big hairy beast under my bed, then underneath the bed he went. Sometimes the monsters weren't even in my room. Sometimes they would hide in my dreams, and Ickbarr would have to come with me into my nightmares. It was fun bringing Ick into my dream world, as he and I would spend hours spotting out the ghosts and demons. The best part was, in my dreams, it could talk to me for real. I'm not gonna do a voice for him, but screw it. How much do you love me? He would ask. More than anything, I would always tell him. One night in a dream, after I had lost my first tooth, Ick asked me for a favor. Can I have your tooth? I asked him why. Tell me to kill the bad things, he said. The next morning at breakfast, my mom asked me where my tooth went, and from what she told me, which told me the tooth fairy, the tooth fairy didn't find it under my pillow. When I told her that I gave it to Ickbarr, she just shrugged and went back to feeding my little sister. From then on, every time I lost a tooth, I would give it to Ick. He'd always thank me, of course, and tell me that he loved me. Eventually, though, I ran out of baby teeth, and I was beginning to get a little too old. I was getting a little too old to still be playing with dolls. So I just sat there on my bookshelf collecting dust, slowly fading away from my attention. Over time, the nightmares, however, became worse than ever. So bad that they even began to follow me to the waking world, terrorizing every dark corner or rustle in the bushes. After one particularly bad night, biking home from a friend's house where I swore a pack of rabid dogs were chasing me, I got home to find something strange waiting for me in my room. There, on my bed, standing fully upright, in the soft glow of the moonlight from my window, was Ickbarr. At first, I just thought my eyes were playing tricks on me again. They had been all evening, so I tried to flick the lights on. Another flick of the light switch, and another, with no change to the darkness. It was then that I started to get nervous. I backed away slowly towards the door behind me, my eyes never leaving the shape of Ick's silhouette. My hands awkwardly outstretched behind, reaching to put the door down. I was just about to get my ass out of there when I heard the door slam itself shut, locking me into blackness, and nothing but shadows and silence. I stood frozen in place, not even breathing. For how long, I can't say, but after what felt like a lifetime of cold fear, I heard the shrill, familiar voice. You stopped beating me, so why should I protect you? Protect me from what? Let me show you. I blinked once and everything changed. I wasn't in my bedroom anymore. I was somewhere else. It wasn't hell, but the comparison wasn't far off. It was some forest, a horrible, nightmarish place where partial embryonic abortions hung from the canopy, and the ground swarmed with carnivorous insects. A thick fog wafted through the air, and with it the stench of rotting meat, while chartreuse lightning flashed across the night sky. In the distance, I could hear the agonizing screams of something not quite human. My head throbbed like it was about to explode. The pain forcing out a river of tears. In my mind, I heard his voice again. Jesus Christ, Ickbarr. I know this is a great boss and all, but dude, Jesus Christ. This is what your reality would become without me. I felt earth-shaking footsteps approaching fast. I'm the only one who can stop it. It was behind me now, huge and angry, hot breath across my back. Bring me what I need, and I will. I woke up before I could turn around. The following day, I raided my parents' closet for my brother's baby teeth, giving them all to Ickbarr. Almost immediately, the night terrors ceased, and I was more or less able to go on about my life as normal. From time to time, I would have to sneak to my little sister's room and snatch what was meant for the tooth fairy, or strangle one of the neighbor's cats, pry out its sharp glowing scissors. Jesus Christ! Anything to ward off the visions of anything from a shark tooth necklace to a cavity-ridden hold on. I have to see how to pronounce this word. Bicuspid. Okay. Cavity-ridden bicuspid. I also began to notice that Ick would move about my room whenever I left it for any length of time, rearranging my stuff and hanging additional curtains. He was even beginning to look more lifelike somehow. In the right light, his teeth would glisten, and it was warm to the touch. As much as he creeped me out, I couldn't work up the courage to just destroy him, knowing perfectly well where that would lead me. So I went on collecting teeth for Ike throughout all high school and college. Wyatt. I'm about sick in my stomach. I'm gonna puke. Oh. The older I got, the more things I would learn to fear, the more teeth that Ike would need to keep me safe. I'm 22 years old now, with a decent job, my own apartment, and a set of dentures. It's been almost a month since Ike's last meal, and the hordes are starting to crowd around me once more. I took a detour through a parking garage after work tonight, found a man fumbling with his car keys. His teeth were stained yellow from a lifetime of cigarettes and coffee, and still, I had to use a hammer to get out the molars. When I got back to my apartment, he was waiting for me on the ceiling in the corner. On the ceiling in the corner, two white eyes and a mouth of razors. "How much do you love me?" he asked. "More than anything," I replied, taking off my coat. "More than anything in the world,"